This morning's presentation is by Helen Cole. Helen is a dedicated advocate for women in leadership, and particularly in politics. As a founder of the Jean Collective, she empowers women to step into leadership roles. In 2022, she supported over 20 women in municipal elections in Lambton County. 7 of them were successfully elected. Helen offers a range of support, from campaign strategy and mentoring to hosting women leadership conferences. She's done this in Elgin, Middlesex, and Lambton counties. Her journey into leadership began in her community, eventually leading her to serve as a municipal councillor and hold leadership positions, including managing the Canadian Cancer Society. Inspired by her mentor, Jean McDougall, Helen founded the Jean Collective, and this was to help more women enter politics. She also established the Jean McDougall Fund for Women in Politics at the Sarnia Community Foundation. And just getting ready to welcome her, I looked her up on the web, and it's such a privilege to meet her in person, and I can't wait to hear what she has to bring to us. So without further ado, Helen Cole, welcome.
Thank you, that was lovely. What a wonderful, peaceful start to my day. Can everyone hear me okay? So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me here today. It really is my pleasure, my privilege to come and speak to you. I especially noted your 8 principles: the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregation and in society at large. Also, individual and communal action that accountably dismantles racism and systemic barriers to full inclusion in ourselves and our institutions. I can't tell you how those 2 most especially spoke to me, and makes me even more happy to be here this morning. As you know, my name is Helen Cole, and I'm here to talk about something that has become very close to my heart, and that is empowering women to take on leadership roles, particularly in the realm of politics. And when I say women, I want to say women. That also means gender diverse individuals. It's just a long sentence, so I usually say women, but please know that's what I am speaking of. And I decided after listening to you this morning that I was going to read a little bit from our website. I'm proud to say I do it all. So the next generation of women and young girls will benefit from having diverse role models and mentors. One of the things we do is we choose to support the YMCA of Southwestern Ontario, most especially their Young Women of Excellence program. A percentage of any money raised from the conferences that you'll hear more about or you heard about already is given to the YMCA for that purpose. Our goal is to encourage, educate, and prepare all women and gender diverse individuals for leadership roles, to create a better informed and educated electorate, to advocate for change, and most importantly, to create parity in politics with a focus on municipal government within Southwestern Ontario. The Jean Collective is committed to non-discrimination on the basis of ethnicity, language, race, age, ability, sex, sexual orientation, income, political, or religious affiliation in all aspects. And there's a little bit more to it, but that's as far as I will go. So a little bit about me and an introduction to the Jean Collective. I've had the privilege of serving in local government, both as a staff person and as an elected official. Actually, it was in St. Thomas, And I left my political career when I married Glenn Cole, who's a Sarnia native. Some of you may know him because long ago he belonged to the Unitarian Church, but now he's a diehard Anglican. And I gotta say, this service is a whole lot different than the Anglican Church. Whoa! So my career has spanned over 40 years across Chatham-Kent, St. Thomas, Elgin, and Sarnia-Lambton. Throughout my career, I witnessed firsthand the incredible difference strong, compassionate leadership can make. This belief and the fact that women need more representation in local politics led me to create the Jean Collective. Oh yes, I have a clicker. Our mission is simple and powerful: to empower women to become leaders with a focus on municipal politics. So I should have gone to this one, but this is a picture of cute me when I first started out a lot of years ago. And this is the woman who inspires me. This is Jean McDougall. She died in 2012, but early in my political career, I had the privilege of meeting Jean McDougall, a remarkable woman whose wisdom and guidance had a lasting impact upon me. Her mentorship and encouragement confirmed the significance of women supporting one another, a principle I hold dear and strive to uphold through initiatives like the Jean Collective. It is my way to pay forward the support that I received. The collective is named after Jean. You probably guessed that, right? She was my mentor. She became my friend and my honorary mother during her lifetime. I miss her every day. So why focus on women in leadership? Research consistently shows that diverse leadership teams make much better decisions and achieve more sustainable outcomes. Women bring a unique and important perspective and experience that is valuable in solving complex problems and driving progress. In municipal politics, where decisions directly affect our lives, having a diverse group at the table ensures that policies and programs reflect the needs and aspirations of the entire community. There is no level of government where you can have the kind of impact that you can have at the local level. That's why I concentrate on local municipal government. The two-party levels, oh, it kept moving, sorry. We don't want that. It is just so important that we encourage women to participate at this level. So what are some of the challenges that women face? Now we can get to a slide we've already seen. Oh, that thing's very sensitive, Dick. So women face significant barriers to entering politics and taking on leadership roles. These include, but are not limited to, societal expectations, gender bias, lack of support, and lack of resources. The Jean Collective is devoted to breaking down these barriers by providing training, mentorship, and a supportive network for women aspiring to lead. One of the ways we break down barriers is by hosting women's leadership conferences. During our recent table topics at all 4 conferences, the following roadblocks were mentioned over and over again: self-perception and confidence. Almost every individual faces internal obstacles, such as self-doubt, a lack of confidence, and feeling like they don't know enough to lead. I can't count the number of times that I've talked to women who have said, well, I just don't know enough. I can't possibly do that. I can tell you that I came from an underprivileged background with no leadership training, no one teaching me how to be a leader, And I can say, if I can do it, other women can do it. And I'm committed to helping that to happen. Another challenge is external challenges and expectations. The real and most challenging external factors for women are fear of threats, abuse, and fear of not being taken seriously. Societal expectations on women to balance multiple roles, such as being a mother, wife, and community leader, can hinder leadership experience. From my current involvement in helping women in politics and in my own personal experience, these threats are real. They include both in person and now on social media. Overcoming these challenges involves creating support systems, addressing misogyny, and challenging those stereotypes. That is exactly what we do at the Jean Collective. We support women and help to build leaders. Opportunity in education. Limited opportunities, lack of proactive education for female leadership, and the need for systems to allow women to join leadership roles at a younger age are significant barriers. Overcoming these involves advocating for equal opportunities, providing mentorship, and promoting education on leadership. We do all of those. One of the organizations that we're now involved with, and you are all so gentle, and I'm not sure I should even talk about some of the things that are happening in society, but there is a group called Women of Ontario Say No. And it's all about the harassment that happens at all levels of government. The Jean Collective is involved in that. There's actually a bill for the second time going to provincial government to create legislation that will give municipalities the power to remove individuals from local councils and boards who harass others, whether they be staff or whether they be another politician. Work-life balance and intersectional barriers is also a factor. Balancing work and family responsibilities, intersectional barriers, or in other words, multiple discrimination factors, and the emotional investment required in leadership roles can be exhausting. Overcoming these challenges involves creating supportive work environments, addressing systemic inequalities, and promoting work-life balance initiatives. And finally, external perception and recognition. Negative labels and stereotypes placed on women, such as being labeled as bossy. That was a word that I've heard a lot through my life. And other appropriate terms like the B word instead of saying assertive can hinder leadership advancement. Overcoming these barriers involves challenging those negative stereotypes, advocating for equal recognition, and promoting inclusive leadership. A personal issue that I want to bring up, and one that is an opportunity that is specific to Sarnia, and it is a barrier to becoming a leader in your community on council, is that city council meetings are held usually during regular business hours. It's almost impossible for an individual to take time off work, thus creating the disparity I mentioned in representation. I believe that Sarnia is one of the few municipalities in Lambton and elsewhere that meets in the daytime. Time for a change, and this is a change that would be better for everyone. I encourage you to write to your local elected officials at City Council and ask them to return their meetings to evening, once they get off Zoom, of course, and that's another whole story for another day. At the Jean Collective, we are constantly evolving to meet the need. Currently, we offer a range of programs designed to equip women with the skills and confidence they need to succeed. These include conferences and campaign schools. For example, our campaign school, which is coming soon, will provide information on running for office, developing effective campaign strategies, and engaging with the community. We are having an impact. I can't even remember what's next, but let's go there and have a look. Oh, we don't want that one yet. We are now hosting conferences in Lambton, Elgin, and Middlesex. Each conference is inspired by our first that was held in September 2023. We've had 4 now as of last month. At each conference, individuals in attendance have come forward and said, I want this in our community. During our conferences, we inspire, empower, and connect women. As of this month, we are working on a succession plan that looks like this, because as you can see, if you contrast that early picture of me and now, I'm not getting any younger. So, so this is my plan that I've started working on, recruiting women from each of the 3 counties, because I've been doing this. I had a group of women who helped me begin, and then they moved on to do their own things. Some of them ran for council, for example. Anyway, so I need to look at creating a structure that hopefully can live on in Jean's memory and memorialize me, perhaps. And so this is what I'm looking at. I would like to, and I have a meeting on the 16th with a group of women from each of those 3 counties to start the process. So we'll be looking at recruitment. We'll be looking at advocacy. For example, you heard me mention the women of Ontario who say no. We're also looking at things like childcare. I did not know until I talked to a young woman in Petrolia who wants to run for council and she cannot because of the childcare issue. Did you know that there are open spaces in most of the nursery schools, but the funding isn't there to put the children in them? So that's something that perhaps we can work on at a local level. Nothing is easy. Bureaucracy is never easy, but you just never give up. You just continue working on it. And so that's one of the things I think that our advocacy group can work on. Communications. I've had a young 25-year-old woman who's been doing my social media, but she's going back to school, so I need some help in that area. And operations. As we grow and hopefully become more sophisticated, we will need some advice there. And education is primarily the conferences, but I'd like some direction from our steering committee on what that should look like for the future. And finally, planning and strategic planning. So if you know of individuals that would be a good fit, just please let me know. There is an email on the website at www.thejeancollective.ca, and you can always email me from there if you wish. We actually need your help. If you know of businesses that may be interested in sponsoring each or any of these conferences, please let me know. Our commitment to inclusivity is unwavering. We support all women, recognizing that true empowerment embraces diversity. By creating a safe and inclusive environment, we ensure that every woman feels valued and has the opportunity to lead. As you heard, in 2022, we supported 20 Lambton County women who ran for public office. 7 were elected. For the baseball fans, I'm not sure what this means, but a friend told me that our batting average was .350, and that puts us in the Hall of Fame. So what happened with the 13 who were not elected, and what were the learnings? As I speak, I can think of 2 women who ran, 2 women who had all the qualifications, but experienced many of the threats mentioned earlier. How can we change this for the future? This is what we're working on. We can continue to build on their confidence and belief in themselves. We can support them. One of the ways that we do that is by hosting, as previously mentioned, the campaign school and candidate information sessions. Those will be in election year, of course, candidate information sessions. We will continue to support them, and if they fail, we are there to pick them back up and teach them the path to success. We're not just celebrating the 7, we're here to support all women. This is why I'm here today. This is why it must be important for you, for your wives, your mothers, your sisters, daughters, and most especially granddaughters. And just as an aside, one of the things that really gives me hope is I have an opportunity each year to be a mentor for a woman who is in the gender politics and gender diverse studies, I think it's called, at King's College. And I can tell you that is such an inspiring thing to be involved in, to work with these young women who are so keen. I absolutely love it. As a matter of fact, and this isn't in my notes at all, because of the work that I've been doing, the Association of Municipalities Ontario is organizing a 2-day conference, and I'm going. They feel my input is valuable. Whoa, that feels pretty darn good. But I also arranged for my mentee to go with me this year. And hot dog, I think that's the most exciting thing ever. She's just so keen and so aware. And one of the things she said to me, she came to my last conference, and this is true, and I keep trying to fix it, but it's hard. I said, her name is Andrea, and I said, Andrea, what do you think of the conference? And she said, oh, I really enjoyed my day, but I noticed it wasn't diverse. And she's right. It's really hard to find diversity to include in the mix with what we're doing, and I'm hopeful that having a broad range of women from across the 3 counties will be able to do more in that regard. So empowerment is more than a woman's issue. It is a community issue. That's where organizations like yours, like the Unitarian Fellowship, comes in. Again, we need your help. Your support and your advocacy are crucial in creating an environment where women and gender diverse individuals can aspire to lead. Consider supporting, mentoring, offering resources, or simply being a vocal advocate for gender equality in leadership. If you do not know where to start, we can help you. In addition to your support, and I have to say this piece, I'm told, Anne told me you give me a speaker fee of $70, and I really appreciate this, but I'm going to say this anyway. We rely on donations to continue our work. If you want to help us, if you want to make a lasting impact for your wives, sisters, daughters, and granddaughters, please encourage others to make a donation. Your contribution directly supports the initiative, ensuring that more women can step into leadership roles and drive positive change in our communities. The Jean Collective operates as a social enterprise. We reinvest any revenue into future events and into the Jean Collective to ensure continuous support and growth. That means that I volunteer my time and my money to fund operations. Conferences depend on sponsorships. And as a matter of fact, a really good example of how one conference supports another, I couldn't raise quite enough money for the Middlesex conference, but you know what? From the 2 previous ones, there was enough money to cover the costs, and that's what it's all about. So in conclusion, empowering women to greater leadership is more than just about equality. It is about harnessing the full potential of our communities. Together, we can build a future where leadership is diverse, inclusive, and truly representative of the communities we serve. And I can tell you that when I started in Lambton County, we had 20% representation. That's not equal. It's nowhere near it. We've gotten a little better, but we've got a way to go, and all the communities is the same. For example, a story that I'll share is on my Middlesex conference team. The woman who had been the mayor in Strathroy for 12 years ran again. She lost this last time. Farming community. She put a sign on her friend and neighbor's lawn. The neighbor next door, a man, came over to her friend, the woman, and said, "Did you get your husband's permission to put that sign up?" This has to change. That's what this is all about. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to working together to make this vision a reality. Change starts here, and it starts with you. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? I didn't even get through my slides, but it's okay. You saw them all anyway when they skipped through. So I will just, oh, sure, go ahead, at the back.
Yeah, just one consideration, last question that referred to. Are the patriarchal, authoritarian male dominance?
I'm having trouble hearing you, dear.
Sorry, the comment that this man.
Do you want to come up to? Sure.
So everybody at home can hear too.
That's a good idea.
I don't know if you can answer this, but traditional values are often patriarchal in our society, and a lot of that's stemming from Judeo-Christian thinking. The man is the head of the household, and one of the biblical references, a woman should not speak or have authority over a man. So I just wanted you to comment on that. I agree women should have more leadership roles, but I just wanted to comment on that.
Oh my goodness. That's not a question I've ever had. I'm not sure I can answer that. I would venture to say that you are correct, that that's probably where the attitude comes from. I believe in respect for all individuals, whether they are male, female, or gender diverse. And that's really how I operate. I think in a lot of rural communities, what you're saying is probably true, maybe even true here. So we're working to make that change. I saw another hand up.
Thank you, Helen. You said that it would be obvious to people that the Gene Collective was G-E-A-N. When you first said it, I thought it was G-E-N-E, as in a more collective group of genes in the group. You may have noticed on our sign that the Unitarian Fellowship is of Sarnia and Port Huron. So we have members over the bridge. And I think about November, and I think about the choices our friends in the States have. And I just, hearing your comments about female leadership versus male leadership, how the two candidates show such extremes. And I sure support the female leadership in the States.
Well, the Gene Collective remains apolitical, and so I can't comment on that. I have my own preferences. You probably realize that from my gasp. I will say I'm truly afraid for what might happen in the US come November 5th. Truly afraid. We don't discuss politics at home because I'm pretty much on the left side, and my husband is on the right side. So we just stay quiet about all of that, and that includes US politics. I can tell you I have many, many American family members, and so we just don't discuss this at all anymore. But the Gene Collective is officially apolitical, which means locally in the 3 counties, we don't support any candidates. I struggle all the time, for example, in the last election, a male individual asked if he could be part of the collective, and I had to say no, because over the years, there's been so much support for men, but not for women, and our needs are somewhat unique. So anyway, any other questions? Yes, Alan. Alan's the one who invited me, by the way.
Well, that's because Helen gave this presentation to Kiwanis, and I thought it was so important that more people hear your message. You know, we try to be non-political here, but I think we all agree that we want Kamala Harris to be elected in November. And that, if she is, that would mean of the 3 North American countries, 2 of those countries will have female presidents, because Mexico has just elected a woman as president who's also a climate scientist. It's just amazing. So
it's not that we want to take over the world.
No. But I think it's important to recognize, I know a lot of people are frustrated with our own Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. I'm not going to say where I stand on that, but I just want to let you know that, because a lot of people don't realize that when Justin Trudeau was elected, he promised to have a gender equal cabinet, which he I don't know if he did, but he has a lot of women in the cabinet. And at his first G7 summit, which brings together the leaders of the 7 most powerful nations in the Western world, he insisted that gender equality be on the agenda. The first Western leader to do that, and he's still promoting it, and I don't think he gets enough recognition for that, because it's so important. Gender equality is so important. Do you have any comments?
Actually, I'm not going to comment on that again for the same reason. Everyone has their opinions. Oh heck, Alan, I'm probably going to vote Liberal or NDP. I'm deciding between the 2, but that's a personal choice. And we recorded it. Uh-oh. Any other questions?
I have a comment. The comment is on the comment the gentleman made about the, like I have friends that live in farm communities. I've been to farm communities. And a lot of times it's more a case of they're not recognizing what the input of the woman is in the home. She not only raises the children, she goes out when the husband's out doing other stuff, she's out feeding the cattle, she's doing all the stuff that he does, and yet what he's saying, you can't put that sign up, I take the dog in my hand and give him a smack. He is king. How do you feel?
I was pretty shocked when Joanne told me that.
Hi, it's Brenda speaking. I just wanted to share that my aunt was the first female mayor of Kemptville, Ontario, which is just an hour outside of Ottawa. And she lived on a farm, but she also sold real estate and was heavily involved and very respected. So, yeah, and I just thank her for her service and her confidence, and I can tell my grandchildren, my granddaughters, but my grandchildren, that story as well. So thank you.
I see it's 11:56, so, and Helen's standing here, so that's my cue, right? Thank you so much. It really was my pleasure to speak with you today. And again, if you go to www.kemptville, helen.thegenecollective.ca, you will find various opportunities to send me an email, or if you want, helen.cole@thegenecollective.ca. I would love to hear about anything to do with this. I will share, and I was thinking of it when you were mentioning your joy. My son has been in hospital since July with a very rare meningitis, hydrocephalus resulting from the meningitis. He goes home today. Acquired brain injury, but he's alive. So that's my joy and gratitude. It was also a reason I contemplated not coming today and canceling, because it's been an exhausting summer. But I'm glad I did. You're wonderful. I really enjoyed meeting you. Thank you.